everybody. I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together, we are Pajamas. We are minutes removed from episode 5. Moving on to episode 6. Not really super stoked about it. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. In the last episode, we had River. No, last 2 episodes, rather. We had River and the Weeping Angels. And
Yes.
those were nice. But even they could not save what was overall to me. I've made no bones about it that so far this season is falling a little flat for me. But as I've also said, I'm not like writing it off. I'm not giving up. I'm just saying right now, nothing is really clicking with me. So I'm hoping it will, as I said in the last episode, that I hope that everything finds its groove. Showrunner, writing, characters, everything finds its groove soon. If not, it'll make the reactions and reviews for the entire season very, 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 very interesting for however long it takes to find a groove. And if it doesn't, strap in, folks. It's going to be one hell of a ride. Speaking of, are you ready to ride into episode 6? We're almost halfway through the season. Yeah. So let's see what this one brings to us. More awkwardness and uncomfortableness and all of that. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Historical one. Amy's got to have one.
She's my world.
Then we will take your word.
He's not happy. I like her.
Do you like her?
Oh, I do, Mother. I do.
Because I haven't told you for 7 hours that I love you, which is a scandal.
Aww.
And even if we weren't getting married tomorrow.
She tried to kiss me. Tell you what, though, you're a lucky man. She's a great kisser. Funny how you can say something in your head and it sounds fine.
See? I like that because he feels like an alien.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's good. I like that. I like this so far. Cool shit in Venice, and we're actually addressing what happened. We didn't know that was going to happen in the last episode. We don't know what's going to happen after this, but so far, okay.
Anywhere you want, anytime you
Aww.
want. One condition. It's a lot to take in, isn't it? Tiny box, huge room inside. What's that about? Let me explain.
It's another dimension.
It's basically another dimension. One of the most powerful cities in the world. Constantly being invaded. 1580. That's all right. Casanova doesn't get born for 145 years. Don't want to run into him.
Foreign lands, what might bring the plague with them?
Oh, that's nice. See what you bring me the plague.
According to this, I am your eunuch.
Oh yeah, I'll explain later.
Poor Rory.
What was that about? I hate it when he does that.
Mother?
Mummy's hydrating Francesca.
More scared than I
You
thought.
miss me?
I knew I'd be coming back. Rory, this is our date. Let's not do this.
What? Make you be accountable?
Tell me the whole plan.
One day that'll work.
I'm thrilled. Oh, this is Christmas. Creepy girls and everything.
Vampires.
We think we just saw a vampire.
You can be my brother.
Why is him being your brother weird? But with me, it's okay. Actually, I thought you were her fiancé.
Yeah, that's not helping.
I'm a gondola driver, so money's a bit tight.
Say goodbye to your sister.
Tell Uncle Doctor.
You said she kissed you. Now,
you want to do this?
I have a right to know. I'm getting married in 430 years.
Why didn't he talk to him about this in the ship? The TARDIS.
Yeah, they both seem hell-bent on avoiding it. Like, they bring it up, but she doesn't want to own up to it, and he doesn't want to deal with it right now. So, more her than him. Like,
And you kissed her back? No, I kissed her mouth. Funny.
Rory, control yourself, child.
Take your hands off me!
Psychic paper.
ooh.
I brought this then.
Ultraviolet portable sunlight.
Yours is bigger than mine.
Let's not go there.
You know what's dangerous about you? It's not that you make people take risks, it's that you make them want to impress you.
Mm-hmm.
You make it so they don't want to let you down.
Yep. Oh. Another CGI creature.
She bit me!
This rescue plan, not exactly watertight, is it?
Aww.
Where are you from?
Gallifrey.
You should be in a museum. We ran from the silence. We fled to an ocean like ours. And the crack snapped shut behind us. Any which way you choose.
I don't think that's such a good idea, do you? I'm a Time Lord. You're a big fish.
Why they hate the sun?
Stop talking, brain thinking, hush. Stop talking, brain thinking, hush. Our planet dies, so they bend the heavens. She's going to sing Venice. She's got 10,000 children swimming around the canals waiting for Mum to make them some compatible girlfriends. Oh. Is it the vampires? Like I said, they're not vampires. Fish from space.
Stay away from the door, Doctor!
Oh.
Come on!
Oh.
Can't stop her on your own.
We don't discuss this. I tell you to do something, Amy, and you do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rosanna, please help me. There are 200,000 people in this city.
So save them.
Oh.
Why did you make the sign of a cross, you numpty?
Right, I'm being reviewed now, am I?
Aww. Raining. Ah! What if it was just like a regular thunderstorm? It's like, ah! There you go. Off switch. Just that easy.
One city to save an entire species. Was that so much to ask? Tell me, Doctor. Can your conscience carry the weight of another dead race?
Stay with us, please. Just for a bit. I want you to stay.
Me too.
I would like that.
Nice one.
Yay.
I will pop the kettle on.
We are not her boys.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Rory, listen to that.
What? All I can hear is silence.
Yep. So next time it storms here. Next time we have a thunderstorm here, I'm gonna run outside and go like ah! Ah! In the street, and then it'll be my homage to this episode.
Maybe they're distant relatives of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Maybe, yeah. I'm melting. This was funny. Like, I understand, like, catastrophe was happening, but they didn't, all they knew was, like, a storm cloud came out of nowhere and it was raining. That's all they really knew. Like, it was just funny. They were like, I can't scream as loud. I can't scream like her because some of us are actually polite. And, but yeah.
And well, like Isabella said, that, well, Venetians can swim. So it's not as if they're worried about a flood and then they'll drown. Actually, they live on a river. It's practically flooding every day.
Yeah. So, let's address the elephant in the room. Last episode, I was, for me, relatively composed with what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't go on my little ranty rant and didn't. I was like, we'll wait and we'll see. And we did. And we saw the episode addressed what happened directly. And the doctor took steps to kind of
deter it.
No, not just deter it, but to facilitate, like, their relationship. I appreciated all of that. And if Rory's going to be along for the ride, I'm 100% behind that because I like him as a character. I think this is the best episode I think we've seen so far. And I think not only because it was a cool plot, but also I think Rory is what the story was missing. I think he's like just that missing piece that helps kind of like glue the doctor and Amy together. And he has good chemistry with both Matt Smith and with Karen Gillan. So he's a glue there as well. I think bringing, what's his name, Arthur Darvill into it is very, very smart. And if he's going to be along for the ride for some time, if only for a few episodes, I look forward to those episodes because I think he just makes the relationship with everyone else work better. Because to me, he was that missing puzzle piece. Like, we talked about something that felt off. It's like we had two negative magnets, like trying to, so we needed that positive one to, boom.
To make it work.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed this episode a lot.
Yes. Sci-fi horror.
Yes, yes.
And a historical one altogether.
Altogether, yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, we get, the historical one for Amy. Cool. And with a little twist, they weren't vampires, they were space fish people.
Yes.
And you gotta kind of feel for them. Like, she was just trying to save her species.
Yes.
Granted, she was trying to drown an entire city to do it, but,
like she said, one city, an entire species.
Yeah, to save an entire species, yeah. This one just worked for me. Things have been glaringly off in certain ways that I've talked about. Even when we had River and the Weeping Angels, there were aspects of those episodes that just felt kind of like... And we had River in them to act as a conduit mainly for Matt Smith's doctor. Because River is such a fucking great character that, as I said in the episodes, that she just has chemistry with all the doctors because the actress is so good at the role. Like, I can't see anyone else playing. I've said it before. I've said, I think, like in the library episodes, I couldn't see anyone else playing River but that actress. But even then, like, there wasn't that link. Like, it didn't make it. Everything didn't feel cohesive, and this one did. It felt like everyone was on an adventure together. And since Rory's there, we are stopgapping Amy's infatuation with the doctor. And if you want to take it back to like the Blonde Nightmare and Mickey, who I know they weren't engaged, obviously, but that infatuation was allowed to precipitate and evolve to very uncomfortable levels, in my opinion. Not going down that. We're not going there. But it's almost like Stephen Moffat was like, okay, RTD, here's what you did. Here's how I'm going to do it with this character. She's going to fall in love with him, or start to, but then I'm going to fix it by doing the honorable thing, by doing the noble thing, like going and getting Rory and bringing him on the adventure, like bringing him onto the TARDIS so they can go on a date wherever they want.
Yes.
That's so sweet.
Yes, and if they die together.
Also, Justin romanticizing death. We have to have it once per season. It's fine. I just thought that it was well written. Like, finally there's a well written episode, because It addressed the issues.
Yes, saving someone's life is said to be the ultimate aphrodisiac.
Like, it just didn't ignore them for the sake of being cheeky or for the sake of forcing this relationship. I like that. I'm getting what I asked for. As it goes on, I'm getting the alien doctor. He's not buying into it. This is uncomfortable for him. He doesn't want this. Because yes, he may be a new doctor, but he still has like the memories and the experiences. You know, somewhere in there is Tennant saying, I want to mate to Donna, you know? I think it's one of those things where I don't think I could have written it any better myself. If they had tasked me with write a solution to the last episode, I would have said, we bring it up, we deal with it, and we resolve it. And so far, they did all those things. I guess at the heart of it, I appreciate that there was this elephant in the room from the last episode. That last 5 minutes felt, as we said, awkward and weird. Because it was, to the point that the doctor recognized how awkward and weird it was and he wanted to fix it. I respect that they dealt with the issue. They dealt with that elephant in the room immediately. Like, that's the first thing we did. I mean, we got introduced to Venice, you know, and all that. But as far as doctor plot, first doctor plot was, you know, Rory's bachelor party.
Yes.
So, boom, we deal with it. And we did. And yeah, I think Rory being along is... I've questioned Stephen Moffat's writing in various episodes and all this stuff, in dialogue and plot. He has cool ideas, really cool ideas. But this worked. And bringing Rory is just like, okay. Like that tension I had, like, oh, we're going down the same fucking road. It feels like misdirection. Like Stephen Moffat was like, we're going to do what RTD did. Ha 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 ha. Gotcha. See, Russell, this is how you should have done it. Although they did improve with Martha. But even that ended kind of. And like, I think if Amy had been a companion for Tennant, imagine if Amy had been a companion for Tennant.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And this episode too also felt like, I attribute all this to Rory on this one. Like the doctor felt like the doctor. Amy felt like a companion. And I just think having Rory along was just a brilliant move by Stephen Moffat. It takes away that seriousness and love interesty thing that was going on. And, you know, he can be comic relief.
That's what I suspect that's what his function is in the story.
Without taking away from the story. He can be, you know, his quest is to go on these adventures with the woman he loves. Clearly he loves her. Like, I haven't said I love you in like so many hours. That was adorable. Like, aw.
Yes, very sweet.
And I'm like, you're going to leave this guy at the altar? I get, just because he loves her doesn't mean she has to love him. I've preached that before. Just because she's his Juliet doesn't mean that he's her Romeo. That kind of thing. Something I've always preached. Just, you know, love does not have to be reciprocated. Just because you care about someone in a certain way, they do not have to match your level. They don't. But I think that the doctor senses what's going on, that it is there, even if she was having doubts, or at least dealing with it. We're not running from it, which is what she was doing. She was running from it, running from her responsibility. You know, if you don't want to do it, then don't. Even that point in the episode where he's like, you know, just take me back. We'll just call it off. You know, it's you're going to choose him over me, which, you know, I expected. Instead of going the RTD route, we went a different route. And I appreciate that. I don't harping on it, but I'm just really happy about it. Like, I was so concerned and worried at the end of the last one that must be snowing. There's a snowplow. And on top of that, we got a really interesting plot with these creatures.
Yes, very much.
From the planet Saturn 9. And they were displaced because of the cracks. They saw many cracks, some small, some as big as the sky. And then they saw other planets, other universes and whatnot, and they found one with water like theirs. And they escaped before their planet was destroyed.
I really like stories like this in which the antagonist isn't a stereotypical villain like Snively Whiplash, evil for the sake of being evil.
Yeah.
That they actually have a reason for doing what they're doing, a very legitimate reason.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, the survival of their species, well, yes, that is a big deal.
Yeah. In her mind, she was doing the noble thing. She had the noble cause. Granted, you would hope that the doctor could, like, you know, let me find you a planet. Like he said before, let me find you, he said to other creatures and races and beings before. Let me find you somewhere to go. You don't have to do this. Let me.
I was actually waiting for him to say something like that, and I was surprised that he didn't. This cannot be the only aquatic planet in the entire universe. It's impossible.
Yeah. I like the little hint they dropped that what kind of creatures are they if they're okay with you thinking they're vampires? Like, they're so open about it and whatnot. And then the little spin on it, the reflections are because of the perception filter and the way the human mind works, or even the Time Lord. You know, Doctor couldn't see it. So just the way that the mind works. And the teeth were because of, it's like the thing. You know, and it's no secret that creature-based things, especially CGI ones, aren't my favorite. But I didn't have a problem with it this time. It was fine. It worked. It fit what was going on. So yeah, we had this really cool subplot of the triangle with the Doctor or with Amy and her two boys. The main plot was the villain, the antagonist who was just trying to do the right thing by her people.
I suspect that indeed, if the story were the other way around, then it would still be the same situation.
Yeah, probably.
Would you like to go to the notes?
Yeah, sure.
Philip's notes.
So we arrive in Venice, 1580, and we're both like, historical one, yay! Yes. We meet Rosanna on her cool throne with her cool outfit. Yes. Looked really neat.
She was great in this episode.
Yes, she was. She was Helen McCrory. I'll have to look her up. She looked familiar. And then I wrote, Amy's got to have her historical episode. So we open up and we're at Rory's bachelor party, and he's talking to Amy on her machine. I'm just like, poor guy.
Very, very sad.
And then the Doctor pops out of the cake, which was...
I'm all right with men popping out of cakes.
Yeah. It worked. I thought it was funny. He said there's a lady outside in a bikini.
Yes.
Diabetic. That was a clever way to introduce the scenario of the Doctor coming back to get Rory to bring him to the TARDIS.
It's too bad, though, that it had to be in a humiliating way.
I like that he said I kissed her, and he said she's a good kisser in front of everybody. It's just like, oh, and poor Rory's just like, I was like, oh. But then, yay, the Doctor is such an alien. He's like, well, things sound better in your head.
Yes.
Because anyone with tact wouldn't have said that. The Doctor's an alien. He shouldn't have human tact at all in most situations, concerning like emotions and stuff like that, and like etiquette and
how things work socially in the human world in different time periods.
Right. So I like that. Like, I really like that they're leaning hard into the Matt Smith alienness of the Doctor. I like it a lot.
Yeah, simply because he looks human doesn't necessarily mean that he needs to act human if he's from another planet.
He should be an alien. He should not be Lothario. He should not be Casanova. He should be an alien, an awkward, bumbling, kind of silly sometimes alien who drives fire trucks and pops out of cakes. Yeah.
It's like a fish out of water, which actually, now that I think about it, is very appropriate for this episode.
Exactly. And of course, the Doctor's trying to fix what happened. He wants to send them anywhere they want on a date, which I thought was very, very sweet.
And what could be more romantic than to go to Venice? Yes, I know that there are other places that are also romantic, but you know what I mean.
Then they get there, they show their papers, and he's like, why are you doing this? Who are you? He's like, we're scouting for the plague. And then Raymond's like, you sent me to the plague? Like, that was their date. But the plague's not been a thing for a while. But no, it's the plague from Rosanna that she's looking out for. Yes. So, okay. Then I like, he's doing investigating the Doctor, and he's surrounded by the vampire ladies. He's like, tell me the whole plan. That's going to work one of these days.
Again, like with villains, it seems as if it's a rule that as a villain, I am entitled to have at least one scene in which I elaborate my entire plan for some reason.
Exposition monologue. Yep.
But,
every time.
Well, no.
Then I felt bad. Like, they were trying to figure out how to infiltrate. And Amy's like, I'll do it. And at first he was like, the Doctor can be your brother. And she's like, no, ew. Yeah, poor Rory. Like, I felt bad for him. I was like, Like, I don't believe in the friend zone. It's a mythological thing. But if you are engaged to someone, I think then you can be friend zoned. And he was like slowly being backed into that, like, there's no romance here, there's no attraction here, you are merely be my brother. Like, it's like when me and you get mistaken as brothers. It's kind of like, thank you, but
It's sweet, in a way.
it's happened more than once. Now, granted, I had hair and I was clean shaven. Go watch the Death Note video, from the Vault video from about 5 years ago, to get an idea of. Not now, but moving on. And then Amy's being taken away, and she says, "Tell Uncle Doctor I'll see him soon." That was funny. The writing was so much better in this episode. All around. I like that Rosanna knew it was psychic paper.
Yes.
And she says, "Did you really think that would work on me?"
Which then led me to think, oh, not only is she not of this world, she isn't of this planet to know of such a thing.
Exactly, yep.
She isn't otherworldly like a vampire. No, she is of a different planet altogether.
Yeah. And then Rory finally stands up for himself to the doctor. He says, "You know what your biggest problem is? You make people want to impress you." And I was like, yes. 100% yes. Yes, 100% yes.
What if he does? What's the point? So what if he wants others to impress him?
I am not going down that rabbit hole with you. You're not gonna. I'm not taking the bait. I felt bad for the dad because they were trying to rescue Isabella as well.
She was too far gone.
She couldn't go outside because of the sun, and the dad had to watch her as she couldn't go and she got dragged back in. That was horrible. Then we find out that Rosanna's son or whatever and his brothers or children all live in the water. All the ladies didn't survive. All the fish ladies. So they're trying to make new ones to repopulate the world, the Earth, when they flood Venice.
More so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also like the scene where they had question for question between the doctor and Rosanna.
That makes it fair.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And that's when she says, "We ran from the silence." And of course, silence will fall. That's been the crack. And like, I like its inclusion here. And at the end, which I'll get to. But I think they could also dial it back a little bit in parts. Not in this episode. I thought it worked in this episode because it made sense. It made sense to be the catalyst of why the race had to leave from Saturnine through the crack, through one of the big cracks. But they saw many cracks, so we're just seeing the one crack. And then we find out they're not vampires; they're fish from space. All right, and then we get to the point where it's Amy, the doctor, and Rory, and the doctor says, "I tell you to do something, you do it," to Amy. And she's like pissed and runs off. And then Rory says, "Thank you." I like that because it gave him the chance to be the hero. Like, it was calculated. I like that. I like that the doctor is trying to reconcile what he sees is going on. Mm-hmm. He knows there's another crack. There's another crack in their relationship. There's that doubt that Amy's having. She's allowed to have it. I've said from the beginning, I'm not faulting her for how she feels, faulting her for her actions. Because we're big proponents of, if something's happening or going on, just be honest. Our relationship is built on 100% honesty.
Yes.
And that's why it works. Like, we're not afraid to tell each other things, even if it's rough or tough or bad. Because we just deal with it, and then you resolve it, and then you move on. So that's what I've wanted. That's what they're doing here. They're dealing with it now. And there's no resolution yet, but we're still in the dealing process. Where they were honest about it. Now we're dealing with it. And then they're beating the throne and pulling wires, and they're just climbing to the top and opens up the little thing, and then off switch. Click.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all that he had to do?
Yeah. While the ladies down there go, "Ah," because it's raining on her. It's probably, as far as comedy goes, it was the best scene in the episode. Future me editing this will probably have laughed. We'll probably have had to pause and laugh, then play it again, and then pause again when it happens again and laugh. And then we talked about, Rosanna says, 1 city to save an entire species. Was that so much to ask? And then, as we referenced, can your conscience carry the weight of another dead race?
A very powerful and
Very
profound
profound
statement.
Very profound, yes.
And very true.
Yeah, 100%. And then they invite Rory along, and I was waiting for him to be like, no. Like, I like that. If you just compare it to, like, the Eccleston and the Blonde Nightmare and Mickey, where they made Mickey feel like the third wheel and, like, not wanted. And Eccleston was always kind of aggressively kind of, like, dismissive and kind of mean to him. I like that. It just feels like Moffat is writing his Doctor to be a complete 180 of what it's been up to now. More alien, more sympathetic, less selfish. Yes, he wants company. Well, want somebody that wants company want more company? Why not?
Yes.
Yeah, like,
that actually is a good point.
Like, we have a human male along for the ride for a bit.
He seemed hesitant at first, but now he seems excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. But in this instance, we have the Doctor sees a relationship for what it is, even though it's different than what the Blonde Nightmare and Mickey had. That needs to be the underlying, like, addendum every time I talk about them. I realize that, so I have to say it every damn time. Just like every episode, I need to be like, we don't know what happens next. That should just be known. It's common sense. I just think it's cool that the Doctor is being more inclusive. Because there's no reason not to be. Like, why would you covet a human female? That's just, no, I want to make you feel outcast and, uncomfortable and go away. No. Oh, you were engaged. Okay, well, now you're along too. Yeah. If you wanted company, as said, you want more company. And I think adding Rory, as said, ad nauseum to this point for this review, was a really good idea.
Yes, if he only wants company and not a romantic relationship, then why should it matter what sex the companion is?
Boom. There you go. But like the Master said, the Dr. likes his human women. So, but I'm glad that we are doing something about it. I'm just glad that not every episode has been as strong as previous seasons, but the character development is stronger so far for the Doctor and the companion and all that stuff. So I could be reading too much into it, but to me, it feels like that Moffat saw the issues the show was having with the portrayal of the Doctor and is trying to patch them up and right the ship to a more lighthearted, fun, the Doctor said should be alien. He should be quirky. He should, and he is now. Man, this is the most Doctor-like Matt Smith has felt since he came on board. And Rory being here will balance that. The entire relationship with everyone. So, and they're getting on the TARDIS. And Rory and the Doctor's like, listen to that. And noise drops and it's silence. They go inside. TARDIS shuts. The crack is in the lock on the TARDIS. So, it's everywhere. And that is all for my notes. Everything else are for my patrons over on Patreon. I enjoyed this episode. It is nice to be able to say that. Like, as a whole, enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed the part one with River and the Weeping Angels, but I also had issues as well. I've had issues every episode. This one I really didn't. I thought the story was cool. I thought the way the characters were written made sense and finally felt organic. And so now we have this comic relief, and I think Rory, the actor, Arthur, does a good job in the role to be bumbling, but also sincere. He brings a realness to the show. Because he's not going to be stars in his eyes, like all the female companions always are, about the trips and the adventures, and also the Doctor. He's along for the ride for the fun of it. So is Amy. So other companions have been as well. He's more of a grounded character.
He did seem to be the more cautious, whereas Amy seemed to be the more adventurous of the couple.
Yeah, so he balances like everything, like any complaints I have or anything like that, he's balancing it. So from a character standpoint, the way he's written, good, and the way he's portrayed, good. He's endearing and sympathetic and nice. And I think it's cool to have that kind of personality in a show. I think the Doctor and Rory I think Rory just being the companion would have also made for a fun season. Because there's no romantic pretense then. Assuming they don't. I mean, the show is... Not gonna go down that rabbit hole, but I don't think I honestly don't think they would write it that way. They could. Don't think they would. I think it'd be a little too controversial for the BBC. So now it's just more like buddies on an adventure. Two lovers and the doctor. All on an adventure together. It's lighthearted. It's fun. It's what the show should be. And I can finally say, I'm looking forward to the next one. Watch the next one. Just be like the biggest drop ball and something happens and they break up or Rory dies or something. Is there anything else you'd like to add about this episode? Okay. Well, I was going to wrap this one up. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I'll simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.